Okay, Brian, you got the first couple?
Yep, I sure do. So at FFLA today, we talked briefly about just kind of the summary of the projects that were discussed in January 16th at a board study session. And there seems to be a little bit of confusion about, and some of it's on my part too, you kind of forget about some of the things you talked about and you remember, maybe the last thing you were involved with. But this is taken right from the last slides that were presented to the board at the study session. And after that time, there was a few conversations with board members and Pat Watson that changed the numbers here by, I think, just under $1 million to go from like the 199.1 to the $200 million. The one thing that is for sure that we are still on target for a fall of 23 reconfiguration of the middle schools and the elementary schools. And we are still on target for the fall of 26 for the bond program completion. There's been a couple other adjustments in the schedule, somewhere as recent as today. So in the next few weeks, I'll get an update to the board. And I know there's been some interest by the community to kind of follow along with a bond kind of progress website, which I will work with Shira on getting that together. The next slide. So we also talked about the bond committee structure, what's next at FFLA. Our vision is that FFLA will be kind of the high level that will report out to the board once a month. And that'll be made up of FFLA committee members, cabinet members, and special guests as they're needed. Under FFLA will be owners, architects, and construction managers, the OAC. We met for the first time today. That'll be the superintendent, assistant superintendent for finance and operations, assistant sup for learning services, director of physical plant services, director of learning and performance technology, Barton Mallow French, and again, special guests as they're needed. And that'll be a real kind of a dynamic decision-making team that will rely on information from the planning teams, which will have various participants depending on the topics. And we're still working on how we're going to get some community involvement and student involvement and other stakeholder involvement in that. But for example, safety and security would have, principals on it, myself, Officer Domberger, that type of thing. And then the last committee is the Field Support Committee, which is just a kind of a quick reaction group. When we run into something in the field and we need a quick decision made, and it's a big decision and there could be big impacts one way or the other depending on how things went, and we need that answer quickly to continue on with contractors or a certain part of the project, that committee will be made up of the superintendent, assistant superintendent for finance and operations, and myself. And of course, we would include anyone else if we needed. So that's just kind of a quick high-level overview. So out of this, what I would like to produce is a revision to the schedule, that the bond webpage, so people can follow along, and we have to refine how we're going to get some others involved with the planning process, because it is moving very quick, and we are getting ready to enter a 5-week back-to-school time, which will consume a lot of our energy, but we need to keep moving forward.
Thanks, Brian. With that, we will go to my colleagues. Jackie, you have any questions? Oh, do you have? I'm sorry,
Hi,
Tina. It's okay, Tina.
More, and there's more.
Okay, all right, no
There's
problem.
more.
No problem.
To do everything that Brian described, we need the money. So this is just a list of everything that we're going through. We're quickly working through this issuance process for Series 1. So just for anyone that doesn't know, of the $200 million of bond that was passed, there are 2 series, and Series 1 is going to be issued now for about $94 million. The steps are listed, and it is moving quickly, and I'm happy to share that our local community will have a first priority opportunity to purchase the district bonds that are expected to be sold about mid-October. So for any investors out there, please watch for that, and you can speak with your broker.
Okay. Pat, did you have something to add, or are we at questions? Oh, we're at questions. Okay. Jackie?
Tina, is there anything that, because look, several of us have been through this before, with the high school, is there any real changes to the process this time that are different than what we did so successfully last time?
So thanks for asking that. Really what's different are just the market conditions. So right now, the interest rates are very favorable. This is a great time to be going in. Many that are looking at selling bonds are doing so before the presidential election. And so by us being at the first half of October, that's actually ideal from everything our financial advisors are sharing. So I would just say the economic and market conditions is what is different, but the process itself is actually very similar, except that we are doing this in 2 series instead of just one, being the larger dollar amount. So that way we're not getting all the money up front and then incurring interest cost on behalf of the district. We're actually splitting it up to be aligned with what we expect the project timeline to be.
Thank you.
Jennifer?
I just wanted to quickly reiterate something that was brought up at FFLA, which is a request to put information on our website so that residents can know when the bond goes to market and what steps they might take if they would like to acquire.
Thanks, Jennifer.